And joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, your favorite Eagles beat writer for NBC Sports Philadelphia. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter already, what are you even doing, Eagles fans? You can find him on Twitter as well. And then his latest article on NBC Sports Philadelphia ahead of camp starting up. 10 things I need to see during Eagles training camp. Reuben Frank. Roob, what's up, buddy?
It's funny. Every time I do this, we end up chatting before, like we end up chatting for like 20 minutes, just catching up on our lives and everything. And that would we should actually make that the show.
We should. That would be more interesting than just talking about camp. We got the rest of the summer to do that.
That's right. Next time. We'll do that next time.
Next time we'll do the personal life conversation and then one football question and we'll get out. But Rube, when I saw the headline today, and I had already asked you to come on just because who better to talk to ahead of training camp starting. And then at the time we air this, training camp starts today, essentially, with everyone reporting. I thought who better to talk to? But then I saw that headline and I read the story and I thought this is a great Rube way to start off training camp. And just one thing I want to ask you about, just right out of the gate. It has to do with trades. Howie Roseman has certainly made his share of trades before the season has started. Who's more likely to be on the roster by the time they kick off the season in week 1? Andre Dillard or Jalen Reagor?
More likely to be on the roster? Probably Dillard. I think Dillard. It's tough to tell. I think the key with Dillard is I don't think he's tradable unless he's got some good film of him playing right tackle. Because I just don't see a team giving up a pick for a guy unless you're desperately in need of a left tackle. And I think he's okay, but he's better than some. He's average. But if you're looking for a depth piece, I mean, you can't have a backup that plays one position. So that's why I think they're going to work him at guard. I think they're going to work him at right tackle, play him in the games at those positions, try to get some film of him to increase his value to make him more tradable and get more back.
Obviously, the Eagles didn't have a lot from Brandon Brooks last year, but looking at this Eagles offensive line, are they still up there, you think, as one of the best in the NFL?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, Brandon he hasn't played that much. It's crazy that you can lose a 3-time Pro Bowler. He was probably like the best right guard. A couple of years ago, he was the best right guard in the league. I mean, Sayamalo's solid. He's not a Pro Bowler, but he's kind of the next level down when he's healthy. He's missed half the last 2 seasons. So that's the big question with him. But, gosh, you go from Mulata and I think he's going to go to the Pro Bowl this year if he's healthy. I don't see how he can't. He's that good. And then you have a Pro Bowl, like Hall of Fame center and a 3-time Pro Bowl right tackle. And then your 2 guards are both pretty solid. So I don't know if a team has that kind of talent. And then you got some good backups. I think Sue is pretty solid as a backup guard, and I like Driscoll. He's had injury issues too, but they're in great shape up front.
Dickerson manning one of the guard positions.
Yeah, I would think he'd be your left guard there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And he's another one who, if he plays the way he did the last half of last year, I could see him. I think 5 primetime games. That's how you make a Pro Bowl. You get people around the country seeing you play, and you get analysts talking about how good you look. Landon Dickerson, to me, played at a Pro Bowl level the last. I thought his first few games were a little shaky, but look, it's a rookie. Just getting started in his career, but by like week 7 or 8, I mean, he was mauling people. So, I think it's just a matter of time before he's going to the Pro Bowl.
Speaking of just a matter of time, is it just a matter of time before Jalen Reagor's traded? Do you think he has a spot on this roster? What do you think happens with him?
You're obsessed with Jalen Reagor.
I am.
That's 2 questions already. I don't know. I think it's, it'll be a little bit of a cap hit if they trade him or cut him. They're not going to. What are you going to get for him? You're not going to get it. You're not going to trade him. So it comes down to this: do you want to keep him around on the roster, take up a roster spot to save some money under the cap, or just have a clean break? It didn't work out. It's not going to work out. I think they know that. I think they're going to move on from him. Mm-hmm. I just don't see any reason for him to be here. I mean, he can't catch. He can't run. He can't run jet sweeps. He can't field punts. He's got terrible judgment. He's got no instincts. He can't get open. He drops I mean, he can't do anything. And I hate to just hammer the kid. I think he's trying. I don't think the question's his effort. I think the effort's there. I think he wants to be good. Some players just aren't very good, and he's like 3 of them.
So, follow-up question: how do you feel about Jalen Reagor? No, all right. So, I want to now let's get to the meat potatoes. The more popular subject here is obviously a guy like Jalen Hurts. From reading your article, once again, people can check it out on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com as well as the My Teams app. Looking at one of your things that you need to see, it was about Jalen Hurts, and I'm on the same page as you. I've been since the end of last year, and I say the same exact thing you say. His arm strength is fine. It's not incredible. It's not going to win you a game, but it's okay. For me, I want to see him be more accurate. So I'll ask you this very general question, Reuben Frank. What is the ceiling for Jalen Hurts in the upcoming season, you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was trying to quantify how much of a difference A.J. Brown's going to make. And you think about it, Jalen Reagor played – here we go, Jalen Reagor again. But he played 750 snaps. Think about that, Mark.
Jeez.
He played 750 snaps last year. That's 750 times Jalen Hurts dropped back. Well, I guess some of them were with Minshew, but 750 times the quarterback dropped back, started looking for a receiver, and there's Jalen Reagor, he's not a viable NFL receiver. 750 snaps is a lot of plays. And I just think that really – so now you have a guy who, let's say AJ is worth – oh, let me get that. Excuse me. No, let's say
that's Jalen Reagor's dad, probably. Like, what the hell, man? That's Monte.
Monte's a good dude. Let's say Jalen Reagor. Let's say AJ Brown is worth 1.5 catches per game that Jalen didn't catch.
Okay,
just throw that out. 1.5.
All right.
So what's 17 times 1.5 is what? About 25.
Yeah.
So that's. If you just take all of Jalen Hurts' stats and add 25 completions for the season, all of a sudden he's a 65% passer. Just with that one change. That's not even taking into account another year in the offense and, just the natural growth a player is going to make from year 2 to year 3 and year 1 to year 2 in this system. And you think about his work ethic, and nobody questions that. I don't see any reason he can't be a 65% passer. He's got better weapons. Even Pascal, you got a better 3 and a better 4. Or a better, the whole lineup is better. And
understood.
I just think it's going to make a big difference. I think he's going to get, I don't know what his ceiling is, but he's going to get everything out of his potential that he can.
Pro Bowl in reach for him?
Well, so many quarterbacks drop out of it that, he was an alternate last year. And, to me, it's just about consistency. We've seen him. This is why it cracks me up when people are like, oh, he can't throw. Well, there were stretches where he threw the ball just fine. The last 5 weeks of the season, he had a higher passer rating than Tom Brady.
Oh, jeez.
So it's not a matter of can he. It's a matter of can he do it consistently. And, he's had some games where he's played at a Pro Bowl level, but he just hasn't strung them together. And that's the next challenge. But that's natural. He's 23. He's 23. He's just getting started in his career. You look at some what was Randall's first Pro Bowl? Probably 88. That was his 4th year. Donovan made it his 2nd year, although he was an alternate. And actually, if you compare Jalen's 2nd year to Donovan's 2nd year, it's very similar. Surprisingly, so.
And Donovan started more games, obviously, his true rookie year than Jalen Hurts did in his true rookie year.
In his true rookie year, yeah. So, and Jalen was better probably 2 years ago than Donovan. Donovan was terrible in '99.
When you look at Jalen Hurts, do you see him in the same situation, or at least a similar situation as he was in last year, where he's still competing against picks, against the incoming quarterback class, where he still has to prove himself to be a franchise guy?
You have to, because of the contract. They're going to have to make a decision at the end of this year, because you can't go into next year I'm sure they don't want to do it, and he doesn't want to do it. He can't go into his last year of his contract. And as a second-round pick, there's no option year. So if he was a first-round pick, they have his rights for another year. But second-round pick, that's a 4-year rookie contract, and he's going into year 3. So you got to make a decision. And how much did Kyler Murray just get?
Oh, God. What, so, $240 million? Yeah.
So you've got to figure out, by the spring, by the end of the season, if he's the guy or not. You can't put it off again. And you're going to have to either make that commitment of, it might not be Kyler Murray money, but if you're Jalen Hurts, like, well, wait a minute. You think I'm the franchise guy? Pay me like one.
Right.
You should say that. But if you're not sure, now you got to go draft a guy who, what are the odds he's better than Jalen Hurts? Mm-hmm. You're starting over with a rookie now. So, and I don't think they're going to be in position to get one of the top couple guys. There's some other first round projected quarterbacks, but who knows? Mm-hmm. So it's a fascinating situation.
It absolutely is. Real quick on that Kyler Murray story. What did you make of, I don't know if you've seen this yet, the clause in the deal where he has to study?
I have the same clause in my contract.
You have to do so many Roob observations. And if you don't, they come get you.
I do. I have to do 5,000 observations a year, or I could lose my job. No, right. That was interesting. But you know what? It's kind of embarrassing, but
right. Yeah. It's like a damned if you do, damned, because yes, you want him to study and you say there's got to be punished if it isn't. But if you put it out there, then it's like, oh, well, now you really have to incentivize doing his job.
Exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. You shouldn't have to put that in there, but he's got that reputation of a guy that kind of gets by on his incredible athletic ability and maybe, isn't taking care of the rest of it. So, right. Jalen Hurts is kind of, he's putting, like, you don't need that clause for him because he's going to put in the time. He's going to put in the work. It's just, is he talented enough? So they're kind of opposites that way, but it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he plays because he's been really inconsistent too. He's, what's he done with all that ability? He's got good stats, but hasn't played well at the end of the last couple seasons. So we'll see.
Yeah. A couple more quick ones for you here. Shane Steichen's play calling. How is that going to work with Nick Sirianni doing the game plan through the week? And then Shane Steichen is actually the guy calling the plays, apparently. How's that dynamic going to work offensively?
Well, it worked last year. It's definitely Nick's offense. Nick is designing the plays. And they collaborate, and there's a lot of good offensive minds, on the staff. And they all, they build the offense, and it's Nick who's deciding what plays are on the card. Okay. It's Nick who's got final say on the design of the plays, what they're going to install, what's going to be in there for each week. So then they have this menu of plays, and then, during a timeout or before the offense goes on the field, while the defense is on the field, Nick and Shane will look at those plays, and Nick will, they'll talk about what they want to start with, what they want to do on first down, what they want to do if there's third and long or third and short. But then when it comes to the actual moment of the play, Shane's calling that play.
Okay. And that's the same. That's the same as last year?
Same as the second part of last year.
Okay. So okay. All right.
We don't know exactly when. So I think we all kind of assumed it changed before the Detroit game. Okay. Which is when they went from passing all the time to running all the time. Right. But it was actually several weeks later than that. So it was actually Nick who was calling the plays starting in Detroit when they became a running team. It's a neater story if, it was Shane doing that, but it was Nick doing that. And then Shane just took over. And I understand it. Nick was a new coach. He felt like he was shortchanging the other aspects of the job. And we saw Andy do it with Marty Morningwig a couple times. And, he just feels like if I want to talk to the defensive coaches or defensive players or special teams or the coaches up in the booth, the referees, I just have other things I want to take care of. And he has a lot of faith in Shane. But it's definitely collaborative. It's definitely Nick's offense. It's unusual. It's an unusual setup. But the way I look at it, if it works, it's a good plan. And if it doesn't work, then you find some other way to do it.
Other side of the football, looking at Jonathan Gannon, is this going to be a better scheme from Jonathan Gannon? Will he be allowed to have a better scheme because of the personnel he has this year? What are we expecting from the defensive side of the ball?
So here's the way I look at that. They were the number 10 defense in the league last year. Not bad. Then you add Hassan Reddick, Kazir White, Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, James Bradbury. So now you have a coach who's actually got players at his disposal. And, people say he wasn't aggressive enough. He was aggressive. He just didn't have players who could carry out his aggressive calls when he was aggressive, when it made sense to be aggressive.
Okay.
The hate for Jonathan Gannon is mystifying to me. He's a guy who I think everyone around the league knows how good a coach he is. I think we'll see it this year. I think everyone will see it. I covered a defensive coordinator named Jim Johnson, who probably the greatest defensive mind I've ever been around, and one of the nicest guys I've ever been around. And I miss him, and I think about him all the time. Jim's first defense in '99, he had who was on that team? Hugh, Trott, Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent, Doc,
Ike.
Yeah. Ike Reese. I mean, think about the talent. So how would you compare that talent to the talent he had last year?
Yeah, Jim Johnson. Right? Yeah, of course.
Jim's first defense was ranked 22nd in the league. Mm-hmm. Because as a new coach, you're putting in your scheme, you're teaching it to the players, you're starting from scratch. They're getting used to you, you're getting used to them, you're figuring out what they can do best. And it's you don't judge a guy after 1 year in anything. I don't know how many times we have to learn that lesson, whether we're talking about, Doc didn't make a Pro Bowl till his fourth year. If he played now, people probably want to trade him after 2 years. This second round pick from Clemson stinks. He's never going to a Pro Bowl. And Jonathan Gannon, give him some time. After Jim Johnson's first year, I think we all knew that they were onto something. It was just going to take some time. And by year two, that was one of the best defenses in the league. But his first year, they took their lumps. And, Jonathan Gannon is not you're talking about a first-year coach with no players facing Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and Derek Carr and Dak Prescott. What do you expect to happen? Mm-hmm. So there's no doubt in my mind we'll see a much sounder, much more effective, much more fun. This city, we love watching defense. And that goes back to, Reggie and Seth and Clyde and Eric Allen and Byron Evans and those guys. Sure. We love watching when the defense comes in. I think that's unique to Philadelphia. We love when the offense is on the field, but man, when the defense comes on the field, people get jacked up. And I think people will enjoy watching this defense.
Absolutely. This one's just for you. Devin Allen making this team?
It's a long shot.
Practice squad?
I think if he wants to do it, you can make a lot of money on the practice squad now. If he wants to do it, I'm sure they would love to have him, unless it's a complete disaster. Hasn't played in a long time. I'm really intrigued. I want to see him play. He has played football. It's not like you're bringing in a guy that's never played the game. It's just been a while. Mm-hmm. He's fit. He's one of the greatest athletes in the world. What a travesty that false start was. I'm still.
I was just going to ask you, 1/1000th of a second.
Here's the thing: there's something fishy about the timing system, and there was research done comparing the reaction times. I think they started measuring reaction times. I believe it was in 2002. Mm-hmm. And somebody actually went back, and they're actually listed in the World Athletics Championships Media Guide, which is an 898-page free download PDF. I could send you the link if you want to see it. It's great reading. But somebody compared this year's average reaction times, or the mean reaction times, to every other year, and it was like the average times were twice as fast this year as any other year.
Huh.
And the statistical in every event that had been run up to that point. So that any event we're using blocks. So at that point, it was 100, 200 and highs. So what they have, there's like a sensor in the starting blocks. And when the runner pushes off, that's when it starts. And you have this. If you react too quickly, you're DQ'd. And there's a speaker behind each lane with the sound of the gun. So, because if you're out in lane 8, you're hearing the gun. If it's just the gun, you're hearing the gun later. That's an advantage. But for every event, the reaction times were extraordinarily faster.
Wow.
Than any other year. Than every other year. And the statistical chances of that happening, it's like somebody calculated it as like 1 in 378,000. I mean, it's a statistical impossibility. So there was something up with the timing system. So even if it's calibrated off by 1,000th of a second, he should have been allowed to run.
Right.
And it's a shame. Yeah.
I was like, there's no room for error there. Like if there was ever room for error, it's 1/1000th of a second.
There should be, because the World Athletics put out a statement saying the equipment was operating properly, and it said the equipment is designed to assist the starter in making a decision, which tells me that the starter has the leeway to say, you know what, it was 1,000th of a second, get back in the blocks and run the race.
Exactly.
It hasn't benefit anybody because Grant Holloway was like 2 1,000ths of seconds slower, and he wins the gold medal. It's a shame. So, but anyway, I'm curious to see him. He said he had a hammy coming into World, so hopefully that's healthy, because he's got to be healthy. I think special teams, the return game, is where he's going to make his mark. Kickoff returns, gunner on special teams. I can't wait to see him. So, it's got to be tough, because in a normal year, if that happens, then you go to Europe and you can race. There's like a bunch of big time races, the Diamond League track circuit in Europe. He can't do that. So he's got to he can't run another race, until next year, because of 1/100th of a second, or 1/1000th of a second. Excuse me. I'll tell you what, he handled it well. I mean, he really did. I couldn't believe it. I saw the video and everything. He was just like, well, that's what happens. And I'm like, what do you mean that's what happens? You've been training your whole life for the second. This is that 1/1000th of a second. Anyway. Reuben Frank, you're the man. Check him out, obviously. NBC Sports Philadelphia, NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. The My Teams app as well. Check out his latest article, 10 Things I Need to See During Eagles Training Camp. And, of course, if you're not following this guy, you're an Eagles fan, you're not really an Eagles fan. That's just what I'm saying. Reuben Frank, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining me on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Anytime, Mark.